Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
Everybody hopes you're not going to have the crime in your neighborhood, but it's slowly creeping up.
Some are on high alert after multiple car vandalisms at a highly popular parking ramp. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. This may be last day of summer, but the cooling temps don't seem to be slowing down vandals, and that's worrying some people in the community.
There could be surveillance video of a person who busted out a number of car windows, overnight in Fargo. Police were called downtown to Sanford Health multiple times, once to the same-day surgery parking lot, where at least one car had broken windows, and twice to the north parking garage for more. Currently, police don't know who did it.
When I get off work, it's already dark, and if I go and see my car's been broken into, and I'm all alone walking to my car, this is kind of really scary.
You'd think it'd be safe there in employee parking, but evidently not if people are doing that kind of stuff. And what about security? Where isn't that monitored in there? I would think. But it's very disconcerting. I hate to see it creeping up here.
Sanford Health Security says they are working with the Fargo Police Department to track down the person. They wouldn't give us any more details or let us look at the video. Sanford Health Security says they are working with that video. We just read that. So North Dakota voters.
Yes, North Dakota voters will be deciding 6 measures on the November ballot. Measure number 3 deals with expanding the rights of crime victims. Opponents say such expansion is unnecessary.
Today they made stops around the state to argue their point. Valley News Team's Natalie Parsons has both sides.
Measure 3, or Marcy's Law, proposes to give more constitutional rights to crime victims. But there's a growing opposition in North Dakota. Right now, 7 organizations, including North Dakota Trial Lawyers, the Victims Assistance Association, and retired district court judges, are against it.
That was never vetted through the legislative process, and it is a measure that prosecutors and defense attorneys alike see that there's more litigation problems in it.
And through a debate in the legislature, we could see what the pluses and minuses were. We'd also see what the costs involved.
Weefald, who is a former North Dakota Attorney General, says the provision is flawed with vague language, and the definition of a crime victim is unclear, making it difficult to enforce.
But victims is not defined, and the problem with that is you lose focus on those victims that really need the services, and you could have victims that traditionally wouldn't be thought of as a victim demanding services, and that would take away from the resources.
A big supporter of Marcy's Law is North Dakota Chair Kathleen Wrigley, who is the wife of Lieutenant Governor Drew Wrigley. She issued a written statement which says, in part, the arguments our opposition make to these rights are the same arguments used against the women's right to vote last century. Clearly, the 19th Amendment was the right thing to do, just as Measure 3 is the right thing to do now. When we know better, we must do better. In Fargo, Natalie Parsons, Valley News Live.
Similar initiatives are being considered in Montana and South Dakota. It's called Marcy's Law after Marcy Nicholas, who was stalked and murdered by her ex-boyfriend. There's more information from both sides of this measure on our website, valleynewslive.com.
A 30-year-old man remains on the loose tonight after a brief chase in Grand Forks. Police were in the area of the Valley Ho Trailer Park looking for Cody Sudell. He was spotted driving a small red pickup truck. He and a passenger took off. The pickup truck broke down in the 2000 block of Old Mill Road. He then ran toward the Red River. Authorities brought in a water rescue unit, canines, and several officers, but found no one. Sudell is not considered to be a threat to the general public. Call police if you know where he is.
A federal judge in North Dakota has ruled that the state must let voters without identification cast a ballot by filing an affidavit. U.S. District Judge Daniel Hovland issued the order yesterday after blocking the voter ID law in August. 7 members of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa sued, contending the state's voter identification requirements unfairly burdened and disenfranchised Native Americans. North Dakota's Secretary of State says he is fine with the decision.
We can continue to plan, work with our county officials, our countless poll workers across the state. It's a simple format. It will allow everybody, the opportunity to vote that chooses to vote.
In 2013, a voter could sign an affidavit attesting to his or her eligibility to vote in the precinct, but the state legislature removed that provision.
There are two sides to every story, especially the Dakota Access Pipeline project. Union representatives and construction workers say the government's recent decision to delay the project over environmental and cultural concerns simply isn't fair, and it's putting people out of work. A union rep says stopping the project is putting around 1,000 pipeline workers he represents out of a job.
What's that going to do to the future for private industry that wants to build infrastructure, that they go through all this 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 year process and it's all approved, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, well, not really. It's not really approved.
Protesters say they're concerned about a possible leak of that North Dakota pipeline contaminating Missouri River water. They also claim the pipeline's route goes through a historic cultural site on Standing Rock tribal land. For more on this story, go to valleynewslive.com.
Here's some good news for drivers going from Moorhead to Fargo. The entrance ramp from 8th Street to westbound I-94 in Moorhead has reopened to traffic. Keep in mind that even though the interchange work is nearing completion, drivers will continue to encounter occasional lane closures through mid-October as crews install permanent striping and signals and complete median and resurfacing work. The new Diverging Diamond Interchange project is designed to improve mobility and safety and allow for more cars along the I-94 and Highway 75 corridors.
A West Fargo canine helped catch a burglar earlier this morning. 42-year-old Kenneth Morris was taken into custody after police called to a report of a burglary at 104 36th Avenue Place East. The homeowner there said that they saw a man run out of their shed. Disco bit Morris on the arm before he was arrested for burglary. Morris has no known address, was taken to the hospital for minor injuries.